If you decide not to vote, if you're able to vote, because it takes too much effort to press a few buttons, open your mail, maybe logging into one of your accounts, what you are actually doing, and think about this carefully, you're voting against Elon's compensation package because it could be really close. And for Tesla to move its incorporation location from Delaware to Texas, at least 50% of all of these shareholders have to vote. So if you are not voting, you are voting against Tesla board recommendations. To some degree, James has a point here. Tesla's board is toothless and has no power or authority whatsoever because Elon has them by the cherries and they are forced to accept everything Elon does. Maybe not everything, but to a large extent, I think James is not really too wrong here. But would I want Elon to have less control of Tesla or more control? I think more control. I would prefer that. Look at this defense of Elon's social media behavior. It's okay to do this bad thing because at least it's not this other bad thing. James thinks that Elon has too much power and that's why the board cannot do anything. But the reason why he was able to accumulate that is because he performed well. And if someone does really well, wouldn't we want that person to keep doing well? I don't think you want to take away power from someone that has proved to do well over a long period of time. Unless we want Tesla to become just a regular company with an executive that doesn't really try to innovate all that much, who's steady, but you know, how much growth would there be in the long term? Do we want that? Some people want that. That's not what I want. If I wanted that, I would invest in index funds instead. Now, I do understand this position though, voting against certain directors. I'm voting based on board's recommendations, but I can at least understand why someone may not want to have a family member on the board. I personally think having Kimball on the board lets the board understand Elon Musk better because Kimball can mediate between Elon and the board. If you're voting against Elon's compensation package, just think about this. This is New York Times from 2018. This is the company's latest publicity stunt. They literally called it that. Musk has created the illusion of success while consistently missing production estimates, and today replaced that with FSD. Oh, well, it definitely is never going to work because he said before that it was about to work, but it didn't, even though it made a lot of progress. That proves that it is never going to work. It doesn't matter that my Tesla vehicle can often drive me with no interventions when I go on relatively not difficult, but not easy drives in the city. I don't even know how many 10-15 minute no intervention drives I've had. I've had quite a few now. And Elon is upset here. Just a publicity stunt. There's no way he can 10x the company. Okay, he did it somehow. But of course, it's not because of him. He doesn't deserve any credit. Yeah, Elon is not a fan of that. Elon actually reposted this to his main timeline and he took another sigh. Steven has some strong words here. The Tesla board said Musk must do the impossible. If he does the impossible, he will be compensated, and Tesla shareholders said, deal, let's do it. The result is impossible is now done, compensation earned. But years later, an activist, thief, posing as a judge, says, not so fast. We spit in the face of shareholders' democracy and fairness. And this sort of tells us where Tesla is right now. For a successful startup, it goes, number one, that's impossible. We are past that with EVs. But with FSD, we are sort of between 1 and number 2, possible but unlikely. Number 3, obvious in hindsight. Number 4, it was obvious at the time. Number 5, you are a monopoly at the market you created. We must control you. And with FSD, we are moving towards number 4 from, let's call it 1.5. When we hear about the first licensing deal, we will probably be at number 3. If Elon didn't remain as CEO during the Model 3 ramp, I don't think Tesla would have survived really. And this is written in 2018. For the last several years, there has been speculation about Elon Musk's future at Tesla and whether he would step down as chief executive in the next year or two. In 2014, he said, I'll have to see, how things are going at that point, adding, I will certainly be the CEO for the next 4 or 5 years and is to be determined after that. So he was thinking about stepping away in 2018 or 2019. I became an investor in early 2019, and if Elon wasn't here, do you think we would have had this gain? Sawyer has some good news. If you are in favor of Tesla's board's recommendations historically, retail shareholder participation in these annual shareholder meetings is quite low, but I get the sense that won't be the case this time. In all my years years as a Tesla shareholder, I've never seen the retail base this involved. However, there are some 5 million Tesla shareholders, and Sawyer only has roughly 700,000 followers. So compared to that 5 million, it's not that many, even though 700,000, wow, that's a big number. It's a bit like Sawyer doing a poll about FSD take rates after someone's subscription expires, and we see, oh, it's a large number, but then we will get the actual number and it will probably be much lower. So while this is good, there's a steep hill for us to climb. All of us need to vote. And some brokerages and institutions holding shares, especially those outside the US, make it way too difficult for individual stockholders to vote their shares. In some cases, people can't even vote at all. Fortunately, voting is relatively easy with most US brokerages. So if you live in the US, vote, because we have to make up for all the people outside of North America. People are asking, why did Elon and Kimball are recusing themselves from the Texas redomestication matter vote? And this is because the special committee recommends that Mr. Musk and Kimball must be recused from the board's deliberations and vote on this matter, because Mr. Musk, prior to this, posted on X about reincorporation. And obviously, moving to Texas benefits Elon Musk. So the special committee wants the voting to be done by people that are not associated with Elon Musk, basically, to ensure no conflict of interest.